Welcome to the introductory video for Chapter 34. This is on sheet metal. SolidWorks provides two ways of creating sheet metal parts. Sheet metal parts in SolidWorks are created from a regular part template. You don't need a special template to do this, although you can create a dedicated sheet metal part template. What I'm talking about here is you don't need a special type of part to create sheet metal. SolidWorks has two ways of creating sheet metal. One is you just create a regular part and make it into sheet metal. And the other is you make a special sheet metal part from the beginning. So let's show how both of these methods work. I'm just going to start with a regular feature. And because this is an open profile, SolidWorks is going to make this a thin feature for us. And I'll extrude it. Here it's shown as a thin feature because of the open profile. And now we've got a thin feature with a bunch of sharp corners. Okay, this isn't sheet metal yet, but we can go to the sheet metal tab and convert this into a sheet metal part. Now, if this had been a different type of part, we could have ripped edges. For example, if we had a closed off end, or if this was a hollow box or something. So we need to select a fixed face, and there we've got a fixed face. So we can collect the bend edges and say OK. And with that, we should be able to unsuppress this and flatten out. So we have a sheet metal part. SolidWorks has added a few features to the tree. The sheet metal folder, which includes the definition of the sheet metal part, which includes things like the thickness, the bend radius, the bend allowance, K-factor, how auto reliefs are handled, things like that. You will have a separate sheet metal feature for every sheet metal body if you have multi-body sheet metal. The convert solid is a feature that just collects the bends, and the bends were the sharp corners that we had created previously. The flat pattern folder holds this special flat pattern for each sheet metal body. Okay, so that's one method where you start modeling in traditional methods and then you change over to sheet metal parts. Let's create another part. This one will be sheet metal from the very beginning. We'll create pretty much the same part. Maybe a little bit extra here. And then on the sheet metal tab, we can create a base flange. Now you notice that this is going to have bends already put into it automatically. And we can change everything right from the beginning, such as we can change the default bend radius, and that updates immediately. We can change the thickness, and that also updates immediately. You can also change various end conditions for the extrude feature in the way that normal extrudes are handled, and even the direction of the thickness. When we say OK on this feature, we have something similar to what we had before. We've got to still have a sheet metal feature in a sheet metal folder, and that contains the basic information for the sheet metal part, same as before. But now we also have a base flange feature which created multiple bend features. And these bend features help SolidWorks flatten out the part. So when we look at the flat pattern folder, we've got another flat pattern that we can use to flatten out the part. There are many more details to working with SolidWorks sheet metal parts, and a lot more exciting things that you can do. There's a whole toolbar full of features that you can go through, and a lot of stuff to learn by reading through the chapter. But I just needed to give you an introduction in the beginning to get you set to use two different types of sheet metal parts in SolidWorks.